welcome to episode 4 of the Pitch and Bitch podcast.
Thank you so much for being here.
I'm Becca.
And I'm Jayme.
And we're so excited because this week we're getting a little weird with it. This is what I have come to refer to as WILDCARD week.
This is a wild card for sure.
Which is a wild card. We have chosen a movie that still technically falls under this season's theme of cannibalism. However, it's a little different because we're doing a musical today, guys.
Fa-la-la.
We are doing Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street.
Oh, I feel you, Joanna.
Oh, Joanna.
I feel you.
Yes, the 2000s Tim Burton attempt at a musical, which you can probably already tell just from that statement how I feel about this movie. That we're gonna get weird with it. We're gonna get into it.
I have to say, it is definitely an interesting time in his career.
Yes.
I feel like it's a turning point when he definitely goes more, they're giving me a lot of money.
That's what we call a studio director.
Yeah. This is when he has succumbed to the studio system. Because if you look at his filmography after, it's things like Alice in Wonderland.
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Actually, that one was before.
Was it?
I know.
Oh my God, I forgot to Google it. I guess it was before.
Yeah, yes.
This is like right before, though.
Well, in the credits, man. Like, that's kind of what got me because I'm like, this is being older now. How old were you? Like, what are your first impressions with this?
I was 17 when this came out. I saw this in theaters when I was 17. Because, fun fact about me, for those who don't know, I am a former theater kid. I say former, but it never leaves you. I am a former theater kid. So when the new musical, like Stephen Sondheim musical adaptation came out, yeah, I was going to see it. And this was also like the 2000s, the height of, you know, emo and Tim Burton being super cool and all that stuff. So I was in. I was ready. And I saw it. And at the time, I did enjoy it. The older I've gotten, the probably less I enjoy it, unfortunately. But we'll get into it.
I definitely saw it at a time where I was a little still unbiased about movies. I just liked going to the movies.
Same.
And I definitely thought it was strange.
Yes.
I was probably, I think, like 11 or 12 when it came out. And I did see it in theaters because...
Ooh, even though it's rated R.
Yeah, that was... We were on a trip and the person we were with was like, I don't think we should see that because she's young. I'm like, I don't know. My mom doesn't. That's not. Yeah.
It's fine.
It's fine. She likes it.
And look at her now. She's fine. No damage
I'm
was
fine.
done. She started a podcast. Clearly she's fine.
Yes. Things are well.
Things are good.
Things are good. It definitely like... I'm trying to think of how I felt about it, but I don't think I really felt negative or positive towards it. There's some parts because I was a child that I just couldn't take seriously.
Yeah.
But that just progresses into adulthood where I still can't take things seriously.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Watching it today, like it's good. Like I can't explain it. Like there's nothing.
Yeah.
Like everybody's doing their job.
I have a love-hate relationship with this movie.
How could you not?
Yeah, because there are parts of it that do drive me kind of crazy, but at the same time, like, there are good parts of it. There are very good aspects to this movie, so I cannot deny that it does have some merit, but at the same time, the musical theater kid in me is like, ah! So...
Well, and honestly, that's kind of how it feels. It feels like that kid in school that no matter what, they're always going to do a good project.
A little bit, yeah.
Like everybody's almost exhausted by it because you're like, well, yeah, like he did, like yeah, of course he gets an A.
Yeah.
Costumes are great.
Yep.
You know,
Effects
acting is
incredible.
great. Yeah, they won awards. There was awards that were won.
And there were awards that were nominated that I had forgotten about that I was shocked by.
In its peak,
It's peak 2000s.
Yeah, it's peak Johnny
2000s.
Depp and Helena Bonham Carter. When we're still interested, it is still has like a Tim Burton charm because I forgot that like this is Dark Shadows comes like after, so they just all kind of start to feel very formulaic in the same.
Yes, and I have a lot of thoughts on that topic. So
yeah,
yeah, we'll
Still love Timmy, you know?
Oh, I mean, I'm still here for him doing cool things.
Yeah.
I just wish he would do more cool things at this point. Honestly, I feel like we should just get into it because this is going to be...
Oh, 100%. 100%.
So this movie was released in December of 2007. What up? I was 17. Directed by Tim Burton, starring Johnny Depp, Helena Bonham Carter, Alan Rickman, Timothy Spall, Sacha Baron Cohen, and Jamie Campbell Bower. Who I always forget is now on Stranger Things. He plays Vecna, which is very...
Okay, so random. I thought he was Jackson Rothbone, the guy who plays... He's the guy who plays Jasper in Twilight.
Oh!
So he's the guy that gives, like, the big eyes.
I could see that, actually.
But I confused him with Jamie B. What's up? And I thought that they were the same person. But the thing is he was in Twilight as, like, the Volturi characters.
Oh, right.
So they were all wearing the same contacts. They all had the same, like...
That's so fair. Well, I mean, like, okay, I think I saw the last one. I don't honestly know if I even watched it. I remember I saw the one where they got married, whichever one that was, I think was the last one I watched.
I was the target audience.
I also was.
They got some of our money. That's all I have to say.
I had all the books and I liked them and stuff, but like the movies I just wasn't into, I remember. So
yes. You could kind of just tell they could care less as they went on.
Absolutely.
And I love the fact that the internet...
Every single one of those people phoned it in for the money. Every single one. And, like, honestly, I kind of respect it.
love all the internet memes. I love all the internet hilarity and parodies.
Yes. You know what? It is what it is.
Yeah. I'm going to be open with it. Like, what am I going to do? Try and hide?
Right? I'm not going to be one of the... Like, don't get me wrong.
I can't be a denier.
Many times I have went on at length about how much Twilight sucks. But that said, I cannot deny the fact that as a teenager, I read those books and I liked them. I have just grown up.
And they've spawned so many weird...
So much weird stuff.
Money was made.
Yes.
I have to bring that up because it did put me on quite the rabbit hole as well. Because when this movie came out, just such big budget features were trying to franchise.
Yes.
And like the studio system was just changing in a way too. Mm-hmm. Like a lot of the cast from fucking Harry Potter and like so many, but we'll get into that.
So the budget for this movie, do you want to put in a guess for how much this budget was?
Ooh, because I didn't look it up. I'm going to say, like, for its time, probably like 25 million.
Ooh, nope.
Oh.
This movie's budget was approximately $50 million.
Ooh, okay.
And
it's reflected.
I mean, yes, but yes and no. I don't think this is a $50 million movie, especially considering how much of, for example, the backgrounds and landscapes and things are all CGI in this movie. They did not shoot on location. This was a studio-made movie. So, like, I think a lot of that went to certain people's salaries is probably what happened there. But
I agree.
And in its opening weekend, do you want to guess how much it made?
Ooh, I'm going to say 15 million.
$9.3 million was its opening. Rough.
Ooh.
It did eventually recoup its budget. Its worldwide box office takings were $153.4 million, approximately. So it tripled its budget worldwide. But that opening weekend, rough.
That is very rough.
And, like, it's a musical, so I get not everybody would want to go see it, but, like you were saying, this is peak Tim Burton and peak Johnny Depp. So, like, their fan bases are pretty rabid at that point. Like, you would kind of assume that they would be there, but
yes,
apparently not. Yes. Apparently, they don't love musicals.
Which is surprising, though, because it doesn't make sense to me, actually.
I know, because I feel like Tim Burton fans and theater kids, like, that's a pretty circular Venn diagram.
Nightmare Before Christmas,
there, right?
Corpse Bride.
It was all so big.
James and the Giant Peach.
Yep.
Like, it's not like he hasn't done
our childhood favorites. Like,
well, musicals.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like you haven't done musical sequences or something like that. Mm-hmm. Also, just like it depends. Like it's one of those periods of time where I think they were trying to figure out how to get a property that already has a lot of like it's existing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it's just cheaper that way to adapt it. And then you can get it going. It's like, okay, we'll throw Tim Burton on it.
Mm-hmm.
We'll throw Johnny Depp and Helen Carter on it because they work. They're
That's
the peanut
true.
butter and jelly of...
Those three, they are quite the team. I also feel like at this point, people probably had a little bit of like musicals fatigue because this was the end of that weird musical revival that we got in the 2000s that started with like Chicago and then Moulin Rouge and then like High School Musical and Hairspray and like Across the Universe and like all these, like when you think about it, there were actually a lot of musicals around in the 2000s, which is kind of strange. But it was sort of this little mini revival, and this was coming kind of at the tail end of it.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's also a horror musical, I think, was a thing. And it actually had an R rating, which I had forgotten. I thought that this was, in Canada, we do 14A as opposed to PG-13. So I thought that this was a 14A, but no, it was an 18A in Canada. And rewatching it, I was like, yeah, that kind of makes sense. This is like very violent, especially for like people who would go to see a musical most of the time are not really into a lot of violence in film.
Well, the gore was pretty good.
It was.
Head cracking.
I mean, shout out to V. Neal, the absolutely iconic makeup artist who also designed Beetlejuice. I believe she worked on Tim Burton's Batman film as well. She is an absolute icon. She also used to host that makeup competition show Face Off, if you remember. She was one of the judges. Sorry, she didn't host it. She was one of the judges. And she designed the effects for this movie. And they actually had to create their own formulation of blood for the movie because of the filter that they shot with, which again, very 2000s. The blood was actually like neon orange while they were shooting in order to make it look red for the sequences.
And I'm glad they kind of kept that red too. I usually don't like it when it's too red, but because like you're adapting a theater musical for that, I was like very down for
this aesthetic. Like it works.
Splatter works.
Right?
Delicious.
Delicious. All right, so should we like get into it?
Yeah.
We open with the return. After 15 years of false imprisonment and hard labor, a skilled barber named Benjamin Barker, now under the alias Sweeney Todd, returns to his home in London with the company of the sailor who saved his life, Anthony, in the hopes of reuniting with his wife Lucy and daughter Joanna. However, upon his return to his home in Fleet Street, his former landlady and current pie shop owner, Mrs. Lovett, informs him that his wife has poisoned herself after, trigger warning, being sexually assaulted by the very judge who falsely imprisoned him and who now keeps Joanna as his ward, Judge Turpin.
Very eyes wide shut.
Oh, very, very creepy. After Mrs. Lovett returns his beloved silver straight razors, Sweeney vows revenge on Judge Turpin. Meanwhile, while wandering London, the young sailor who saved Sweeney's life sees Joanna trapped in Turpin's home and, with eye contact alone, falls madly in love with her and vows to free her.
Love that.
Love that for you, crazy kids.
No internet, you know?
Right?
It's just like,
what else are you going to do?
Plus, the bustier?
Oh, girl, she was looking great.
They were boosting, yay.
Those courses were boosting.
What a
things.
time.
What a time. After publicly proving his skills, Sweeney Todd is forced to murder his old apprentice in order to protect his new identity, taking on his young servant, child captive. Don't really know what his title is. Toby.
I like child captive.
Kind of, that's how that felt.
Yeah.
And Sweeney Todd also misses a chance to kill the judge and vents his now murderous rage on all of his new customers. In an effort to hide Sweeney's crimes and revive her business, Mrs. Lovett begins baking bodies into her pies, causing both businesses to thrive. Meanwhile,
I like that. Thank you.
We love a business-oriented queen.
Yes.
Meanwhile, Anthony and Sweeney Todd hatch a plan to rescue Joanna and deliver the judge to Sweeney Todd. After Sweeney finally kills the judge, he unknowingly kills his wife Lucy, believing that she had died years ago. After recognizing her corpse and realizing that Mrs. Lovett has deceived him, Sweeney Todd pushes her into the oven and allows a young Toby to slit his throat, ending our movie. Bum, bum, bum.
That's our free sound effect library. Thank you.
You're so welcome.
They're not man-made.
They are no AI here.
No.
Human-made. So, yeah, this movie is very long. It's like a 2.5 hour expedition.
Okay.
It's very long.
It's an hour and 56 minutes.
What?
I watched an hour and 56-minute version of it.
What am I thinking of? Did I get the time wrong? Oh, no, you're right. It is an hour 56. Sorry, I watched something else today.
I'll be honest with you. It feels that way.
It feels that way. It's too long. That's one of my chief complaints about this movie is that the pacing is not good, so it feels too long.
Yes, which is so funny because I've been trying not to say, like, oh, I need to cut the runtime. But
No.
I seriously, like, there's something about it. It takes way too long to get to its first kill.
Yes.
There's, like, I understand you're like, I don't know, like, is the stage play longer?
Let's get into it.
The
The stage play, I believe, has a slightly longer runtime, but it's only by, like, a negligible amount. It's not very much. But the biggest difference between the play and the adaptation is the play has almost no dialogue. Everything is sung, similar to something like Les Mis or something like that.
Which is funny you bring that up. Because we have Sacha Baron Cohen.
We do. We have
Helena Bonham Carter.
Exactly, which we will get to.
Perfect.
But yes, the movie, so the stage play, because everything is sung, it moves a lot faster. Like that pacing is much quicker.
I see.
Through the whole thing.
Okay.
Whereas in this, they've taken some of the, I guess, quote unquote, dialogue that would be sung in the show and turned it into actual dialogue and scene work and stretched it out where it doesn't, in my opinion, need to be stretched out. It actually makes the movie feel longer. It's kind of to its detriment in a lot of ways, whereas the stage play, like, it moves right along. Like, it's just going at a clip the whole time. And it's got very high energy. Like, one of the things that Stephen Sondheim, who wrote the musical, is known for is a ton of dialogue in a teeny tiny time frame. So as an actor, you have to be able to just go.
Okay.
Like, that's something that he is known for. He's very particular, and he's also very particular about actors enunciating their words because there's so much dialogue that if you don't enunciate, no one's going to know what the hell you're talking about.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
And that's actually one of my chief complaints with the movie is when you're listening to all these people singing, they don't have that enunciation. They've actually cut a lot of things from the songs. Like the sort of worst offender in that sense is actually By the Sea, Mrs. Levitt's song. That song's like a full minute or two longer in the show. And it is just her going the whole time. Like, it is just nonstop. And they cut a ton of that out. They slowed it down. They did a whole bunch of stuff to it. So it's actually quite different from the stage play. And in my opinion, to its detriment. But I'll burn a quick fun fact.
Burn it.
This is the only film adaptation that Stephen Sondheim actually approves of his work. He approved Helena Bonham Carter and Johnny Depp, which I found very surprising. And he apparently liked the movie. He thought it was good, which I was kind of shocked by.
I was looking up where to watch it, and I did have to rent it. But I looked on Tubi, which I like to call Tubby, because it just feels right.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize there's a new one that just came out this year. Yeah. And there's the 2006 one, and there's a couple other ones as well.
Yes, there have been several film adaptations of this. This is by far the most successful one. And there have also been many, many Broadway runs of this, which we will get into a little bit later. Yeah, this show has been around for a long time. Like, Patti LuPone actually did a version of it on Broadway in the 2000s. I think she was in the 2000s cast, if I remember correctly.
Do you remember Kevin Smith's really successful film Jersey Girl?
I do. I have seen Jersey Girl.
I was trying to remember what movie where the little girl becomes obsessed with Sweeney Todd. And they reenact a scene from it. And I just was like,
oh my God, I forgot about that. I fucking love Kevin Smith.
Me too.
I love him so much.
And that movie's funny as well because I'm like, what an unbiased time. Because I just, again, like I said earlier, I'm like, you just liked going to the movies. I'm like, I just liked movies.
Yep.
I just liked, and then you get an opinion, and then you're like,
I watched so much weird shit. But
don't be biased. If you like something, you like something.
Absolutely. I watched so much weird shit, and I still do. That's something I do, like, even as an adult. I'm like, oh yeah, I've seen, this random weird rom-com, and people are like, what? You don't even like rom-coms? I'm like, there are exceptions to every rule.
You need entertainment.
And you know what? Don't limit yourself.
Of course.
Just do it. Let yourself have some fun. But getting back to this movie.
Yes.
Yeah, the biggest complaint I have is definitely the runtime. It's too long. I do think they should have kept it a little closer to the stage play just for pacing purposes.
It makes sense.
It does. And just like the movie really drags, like you were saying, the first really good kill, which I would also argue is precluded by the first really good song, which is Pirelli's Miracle Elixir, which Sacha Baron Cohen sings. Is in the film adaptation the first really good number. And I am going to be very clear, I am not a fan of Sacha Baron Cohen's, generally speaking. I grew up in the time of Borat, and I just can't do it. It's just not my thing.
Not very nice.
He's excellent in this. He's really, really good. He crushes it.
You look at his filmography as well, and it's definitely it's post Borat. Yes. So it's when he is trying to be, I guess, a bit more serious.
And I feel like this was a great way for him to do that. It just showed that he had a lot more range than people realized, which I think was really smart.
And then you come out with Bruno and the Dictator a few years later. You know where you make money.
Yeah, it's true. But the real standout for me, actually, is the kid who plays Toby. Through this whole movie, I would argue he actually gives one of the best performances in the whole movie.
Only does this and 2 other roles.
Yeah, and that's it. And I don't know that he acts anymore. His last credit is in 2017, I believe it was. So, he may not act anymore. He may just take a long time between projects. Who knows?
He's looked it up because I was curious because I didn't really get it. But he's involved in, I think he opened up an art studio.
Cool.
He's just being a cool individual.
Love that for him.
I don't know, it's you took your Sweeney Todd money and whatever other
you're just
money
out there being
he's not
an
doing
artist.
bad. Let's just say
you're
that.
out there being an artist.
I think he produced some people's songs too. Very interesting. It's cool when you can find out fun things about people. Thanks, Wikipedia.
Hey.
I'm sorry I haven't donated yet.
But also it's nice when you, especially for a child star, you see somebody who didn't kind of have a lot of trauma and potentially go off the rails. When someone's actually just making a living in the arts after that. That's always really cool to see. So love that.
Though I do find it weird connections. His other credit is for Hugo. And a lot of people who were connected to this project also have connections to Hugo, which is a really random movie. If anybody remembers that one.
Maybe?
I probably.
Hugo is Martin Scorsese, right?
I think so.
Yeah. Anyway, I never saw it, but I remember it being around.
A lot of weird connections for this movie. That's why it's at such an interesting time.
Yeah.
For a lot of people's careers and where they stand.
That's true. I feel like I want to get into this movie kind of chronologically, but I can't without hating on it. So let's just go for it. My chief issue with this movie, besides the pacing, is actually Johnny Depp. And this is, I guess, a bit of a hot take, but I didn't realize it because when I saw this movie was peak Johnny Depp fame, just post Pirates of the Caribbean and all that stuff.
Exactly.
I was a huge Johnny Depp fan at the time, was pumped to see it. And honestly, I feel like Johnny Depp, even now, even in the year of Beyonce 2025, he's still kind of butthurt that his career as a rock star never took off. Even though he's an unbelievably successful actor.
Can't have them all, baby.
And he does the thing in this movie that drives me kind of crazy, where for the most part, he's not really singing. He's doing the Rex Harrison in My Fair Lady speak singing, where you maybe hold a note or two towards the end, but you're mostly actually just talking in rhythm. You're not really singing per se. And I don't know how much of it is him versus Tim Burton's direction and stuff like that. But for example, in the first song that Sweeney starts to sing, when he comes off the boat and he's in London and, what it is? It's how the world is filled with shit and all these people are terrible.
In London. For real though, I get it because he's doing the, if you could see my face visually, and you're doing a little corner out of your mouth.
Side mouth situation.
A little side mouth. It's he's kind of performing like he has a cigarette in his hand consistently.
Exactly. And also just again, I'm a musical theater dork, but those lines are meant to be said in rage. He is spitting them out in rage. The whole play has so much higher of energy levels than the movie does. So when you hear Johnny Depp and he's kind of using a little side mouth and he's got a little growly thing happening in his voice, but he's just sort of throwing the lines away as if he's talking to himself. Whereas it's supposed to be no, this is him announcing his presence basically.
That's why it feels that's why this movie is how do I say this? It's just one note.
It is
it's good. Everything it's good, but it's not like a memorable. It's not a memorable meal.
I watched this movie last night with a friend, and my friend's comment, which is I think really apt, is that this is a wet noodle of a movie.
It is kind of a wet
noodle. It's a little bit of a wet noodle because it's all aesthetic and no soul.
Yeah, like it's not a dry toast situation.
No.
It is a
wet noodle situation.
Yeah. Yeah. And
we're like
wet noodle, but like still al dente somehow.
Right? Like you've cooked this noodle technically, but you still don't really want to eat it.
No.
It's not very appetizing. No. But
it's not sticking.
Exactly. It's not sticking. Because the aesthetic of this movie is great. And like that's the Tim Burton of it all. But in terms of the actual sort of like the script, the performances, the soul of the movie is missing. It feels like a lot of people in this movie are kind of phoning it in.
Yeah, it definitely feels like I'm collecting a paycheck.
Yeah.
I was kind of worried that we wouldn't really have too much to talk about with this movie because it's kind of bland in that way.
A little bit, yeah.
Like I can't, like there's more, it feels like a studio movie.
It does.
Everybody's kind of collecting a paycheck. And there's nothing wrong with that because it's still not a bad movie.
Exactly.
Like it's an enjoyable experience. Exactly. There's still rewatchability to it, but there's just something about it that doesn't, like, it's straight up some of the pacing. Now that I know that it's more, they tried to do the thing where they're trying to appeal to non-musical theater people by having the non-speaking parts when you should just appeal to your demographic.
Yes.
We are in a wicked time right now.
Right? Musicals can make bank.
Mm-hmm. Like it is insane. But that's like, I'm not a musical theater nerd. I respect it. There's ones that I can get down with. There's ones that I'm okay for sure. But like I haven't dipped my toe in Wicked, and that's okay, you guys. That's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Please don't cover me.
Speaking as a musical theater nerd, that's okay.
Cynthia Erivo, okay. Don't hurt me.
It's okay.
It's okay.
It's all good. It's okay.
But you gotta respect the craft because you are involving more elements of entertainment.
Well,
the dance.
And like the other thing about I love your moves, Jayme. You guys can't see, but Jamie's dancing right now. Look at her go.
Shoulder work, baby.
That's shoulder work, baby. Well, like the other thing about this musical, and it was again part of the thing in the 2000s, was with mostly Chicago, but a little bit Moulin Rouge as well. People realized that you could cast actors as opposed to singers in musicals, if that makes sense, because obviously as a Broadway actor, you have to be able to sing and dance and do all that stuff too. Whereas, for example, like Renee Zellweger and Catherine Zeta-Jones, they had never done a musical before Chicago, and they absolutely crushed it. Like, they were great. They did so well. And then you have, like, say, Moulin Rouge, where, like, personally, I think Nicole Kidman did okay. Ewan McGregor crushed it. Like, and that kind of becomes a thing. Like, you know, even somebody like Zac Efron in Hairspray, for example, he's known as an actor as opposed to a singer. He is a very good singer, but he is known as an actor. And so they also were like, we can definitely get away with that with this one. And I feel like if you're dealing with Sondheim, that's not the case. That's intermediate. Like, that's not beginners for musical theater. Like, I feel like I understand why the casting of this movie happened the way it did, but I agree with what you were saying where it's a studio musical in that way versus like, you know, we're going to cast these people because they can sing, at least, you know, serviceably, I will say, and they have the name recognition. They're super famous. This is who we want. And I know Tim Burton actually insisted on Johnny Depp for this role, which, like, I get for more reasons than them just being friends. Like, I do get it. Yes. It does make sense for the time period. But that said, like, it's kind of what we've been sort of talking about already, where this movie for Tim Burton, I do think marks a turning point in his career he goes from being an artistic sort of like interesting director who does work with studios, because like he'd already done Batman and things at this point, like he'd done big studio movies, but he was doing more interesting things, whereas at this point he feels much more like a director for hire. When we are in the, like, it's the franchise era. And then you get to these points where you realize that they're trying to choose properties that already exist because then they can remake it or redo it because it's going to sell. Like, it is what it is. I understand if we want more movies, you guys need to make movies where you get butts in seats. That's true, but don't underestimate the power of an original to get butts in seats. No, and like it depends like who this is for, what your demographic is for, and
this definitely feels, like you said, like there was so many musicals being adapted to movies because you guys already have a script.
Exactly.
What else is easier?
And, like, I feel like especially for Tim Burton, since this movie, like, I don't know if I can think of a single project he's done that hasn't been some kind of studio adaptation.
Of course.
Like, and if I'm wrong, please feel free to email us and yell at me. But, like, I don't know if that's a thing. Like,
well, we're smack dab in the nostalgia era. Like,
totally.
We just seen Beetlejuice. Like, it's a rough one out there.
Oh, God, it's a rough one. I don't know. I feel like especially for Tim Burton, as I say, like this was the moment where he just kind of became that studio director for hire where like we're going to do an adaptation and we want it to be quirky and weird. So we're going to get Tim Burton to do it.
Yeah.
And then he's going to call, potentially Johnny Depp or like Helena Bonham Carter. I mean, maybe less now, but like, whoever he's dating, because it went from Helena Bonham Carter to Eva Green to Monica Bellucci. And admittedly, Helena Bonham Carter has been very vocal about the fact that she had to audition for every single part in every movie of his she was ever in. It was not nepotism, so I will give them that. I'm sure they did have to audition. However, that is a trend where it's always your girlfriend. Because even before that, in Sleepy Hollow, I can't remember her name off the top of my head, but she plays Johnny Depp's mom, and that was Tim Burton's girlfriend at the time.
Okay.
And things like that. Like, it's always kind of been a thing. And I'm not going to get too far into this because I didn't actually research this, but there's a lot of people who theorize that the reason why his movies have gone downhill in intervening years is because he was actually working with a woman who, I believe her name was Lana, I want to say. You can all Google this because I did not go very far into it. Who was helping him with story and editing and all of that stuff.
Del Rey?
Oh my God. Could you imagine? Previous to this. And then they had a like creative breakup basically. And now all of his movies are just studio director for hire projects. So if you want to fall down that little conspiracy rabbit hole, I encourage you to do so. But I am not saying that any of this is true. Please don't sue me, Tim Burton.
Well, and like speaking of the director, like he's very, very consistent with most of the projects that he makes.
Yes.
And even the ones that aren't great, they're still not the worst thing ever.
They're like passable most of the time. But
yeah.
that to me is really sad because Tim Burton used to do really interesting things. Like he did like Big Fish is one that people tend to forget about. That was one of my favorites. Yes. Like even something like Sleepy Hollow, which is like the biggest criticism a lot of people have is that it's all aesthetic. It's a fairy tale. That works for me in that one. Like I'm here for it. He used to be making sort of like interesting projects, even if it was something like Batman, which is an adaptation. Like that wasn't an original story in that way, but it was interesting and quirky and fun and he made it his own. Whereas now it doesn't feel that way.
Yeah, there's definitely, I feel like he's given himself more time to give himself like passion projects along the way. Sometimes that's why you do your studios, right? But like, I'm trying to think of what passion project that would have been done. And again, like it is such an interesting time because CGI was kind of coming in and taking everything hot, right? Like you said, if this was shot in a room, and then, you get Alice in Wonderland. I keep referring to that one because that one just is so otherworldly that you would have definitely have focused hard on. And it feels like we're almost exhausted with that point with Johnny Depp because he's getting casted in the same role over and over again. It's the joke, right? Like,
Well, it's the same thing for both of them. Where just like because the studio system was changing at that time to the point where that's what studios wanted. They wanted like actors and directors for hire the way they used to have them back in the day.
You know what? They're like mac and cheese. There's so many variations of mac and cheese. Sometimes you get really fucking good mac and cheese.
And sometimes you get absolutely trash mac and cheese.
You get Kraft Dinner microwave.
Yeah, the microwave one. The stovetop one is different. I would argue that these movies are closer to the stovetop one because they are serviceable, tasty even, but not your first choice.
Exactly. You can throw some ketchup on it.
Sometimes it's your first choice, but not always.
For real. But that's kind of
like,
what
it's still
they've
good.
turned into.
You're still going to eat it.
Yeah.
It's still good.
Yeah, I'm still going to be satisfied. That's the thing.
Exactly.
That's just what has become of it, though.
It's true. That's what it's become, where like now you see a single studio releasing all these franchises with actors where they have like decades-long contracts with certain actors and things like that. And like that didn't used to be the case. And this was kind of the beginning of that. And I think you can really see the effects of it at this point. But yeah, like for me, Johnny Depp, again, I get why it happened, but it was kind of a choice. I do wish that they had maybe cast someone with like a little more Broadway experience, or somebody who just, I don't know. I think you need somebody who is more theatrical in general in that role, even if they aren't a theater actor, like somebody who's going to give you a bigger performance, I think is what you need. Helena Bonham Carter, I think, is actually pretty good. I think a lot of that is the direction, in that, like, for example, they've slowed down her songs. They've done things like that. But I do think particularly in A Little Priest, she really shines. Like, that's the moment where she starts to shine. Before then, her performance is, like, fine. But that's the song, I think, for both her and Johnny Depp. I think that's probably their best song. Because one, Johnny Depp does the most actual singing in it. And two, like, that's where her performance really starts to kind of like kick up and is actually engaging. And,
I really like that scene too.
Yeah, it's a really great scene.
To be honest, it's a lot of the humor pops out for that.
Exactly. And it's one of the ones that's closest to the stage show. They actually use some of the same choreography from the stage show and things like that in that scene. So like that one, I think, like, yeah, see, you stick with the show and then you got something good.
I do really like this, her Would You Like a Pie Star scene.
Yep.
It's a really good sequence. It's a really good use of props. That's why it's like hard for me to talk about anything, because like, yeah, the cinematography was good. Like, of course it was good. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, it's such a, like, if it wasn't good, it would kind of be a problem.
It would. And also, I just, like, I'm going to throw it out there that I just want to dress like Mrs. Lovett on any given day. That's like my ideal makeup, hair, and wardrobe situation.
All of them.
Right?
Fantasy, just getting married.
Well, I mean, I do feel like this movie, especially in terms of like the costumes and things like that, really captures that sort of dark whimsy of Tim Burton. Like thinking of Timothy Spall, who plays the Beetle, and his like little weird, almost, I think it's like crocodile or like snakeskin leather jacket and stuff. Like the details in this movie are so on point. Like credit where credit is due. Colleen Atwood, their costume designer, absolutely crushed it. And she always does. She's a 10 out of 10. So there are such great aspects to this movie, which is why I can't fully hate on it. It is actually still great. And like, I already said it, but I'll say it again. Sacha Baron Cohen absolutely crushes this. He's so good. Like, I had forgotten how good he is in this movie, between actually singing, one, and two, it's the sequence where he goes to Sweeney's shop and you see him change from his Pirelli, like, put on personality to who he actually is.
Yes.
And that transition is so much better than people gave him credit for. He's really good in that scene.
He's doing the work.
He's doing the work. Yeah. Exactly. He crushes it. And also his death scene is great. That's a great kill.
It is.
It's a really good kill. So like the wait is too long, but the payoff is there.
Yeah, and honestly, they're like, everybody is very, very well set up in this movie to me wanting them not to be alive.
Yes, that's very true. That's very, very true. Although that said, the sequence where Pirelli and Sweeney have the like shave off, for lack of a better term,
is so good.
It is really good. But at the end of the scene, there is a character who walks up to Sweeney Todd and asks if he has his own shop, and Mrs. Lovett is like, "Oh yes, it's above my meat pie emporium." Blah. That character is Anthony Stewart Head, who plays Giles on Buffy, and he originally had a whole other part in a number that they cut. And Tim Burton, I will never forgive you. As a hardcore Buffy fan, I will never forgive you.
Not Giles.
How dare you cut Giles? That is my fictional father figure from my childhood. How dare you cut his scenes?
I understand why they cut it, though, because it just, the runtime was so,
I do.
Like, it took so long.
I'll get into it in fun facts, because it's actually a longer story than that. But yes, just how dare you? I'm so offended. Of all the scenes to cut, there are other ones you could have cut before that one. Just saying. Because the scenes he was in sounded incredible, but we'll get into it in fun facts.
Well, and to be fair, like, you kind of bring up a pretty good point of, like, it's like, again, like, it's hard for me to talk about this movie because there's not really much for it to talk about, because they didn't write the story. Like, it's an adaptation.
It is.
So like there's just so much pre-existing, and like, of course, like Bones and All was an adapted book, but for this one in particular, you really are taking something and just being like, doot, 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 boop.
Yep. Here's your movie.
So that's why it's like, it kind of, it's a
mixed bag.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a mixed bag.
Exactly.
The one who I always love in this, though, is Alan Rickman, because I feel like he does such a great job. One, just because he's Alan Rickman. He's always amazing. But I feel like, especially at the time, because he was known for like Harry Potter and all that stuff, casting him in a musical, a lot of people didn't realize that he had like done musicals and things, and like could sing. So I think that I remember at the time when I went to go see it, I was like, oh my God, Alan Rickman is going to sing? Like, what? And then he's actually really good. But I love the dynamic between him and Timothy Spall, his little like crony, his little lackey.
I did look it up. Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire was probably like, that was the latest one to be released before this movie.
Well, one comment my friend also made when we were watching this movie was due to the filter and sort of like the aesthetic of the movie. Their comment was like, it looks like it's trying to be Harry Potter 5,
yes,
which is the Half-Blood Prince, which came out the same year. We looked it up. It came out in 2007.
A lot of it looked like people were going from one set to the other. I'm not going to lie.
Exactly. It looked like y'all were repurposing, which is why I'm like, why did this movie cost $50 million?
Did you burn something down?
I mean, did somebody maybe get a little richer there? Like, what happened? Especially considering, like, the CGI for everything. The thing that got me the most with the CGI is, one, the CGI blood. Because there's a lot of that throughout.
There is.
And it never looks right.
I was okay with it for credits, but after that, it's a little too
I didn't love the
cheesy,
credits.
but
I didn't love it. Because just, like, I feel like it's halfway between the sort of, like, claymation Henry Selick vibe and something that's fully digital. They tried to find a happy medium, and instead they just didn't land in either camp.
That's why looking up when Willy Wonka had been released was a good look up, because to me that's when he got his studio formula down.
Yeah.
And then was able to do it that way.
That's fair.
Like, love credits. Love good credits. Gives you time to get extra popcorn and go to the bathroom. Sometimes we're telling secrets.
Right?
But these ones, like, let's go.
Yeah. Pick it up. Let's go.
Meat pies, let's get into it.
Right? Like, we get it. Let's go. I do think, actually, I think I lied. I don't think that A Little Priest is actually Johnny Depp's best song. I think it's probably actually Joanna, Act 2, which is sort of the murder sequence that we get, where he's, like, just killing all these different victims, singing about how he'll never see Joanna again.
Great sequences.
It is a great sequence. A lot of great deaths. Again, great effects. Tons of blood going everywhere, which is so fun, like, as a horror fan. So fun. Love to see it. It's fun.
It is.
It's so fun.
It's like,
like, oh my God, this is everywhere.
Like,
that place would be a mess.
The skull cracking, man.
Oh yeah,
that got me for sure.
Gets you. Yeah. Nothing like a body shoot and a good skull crack, right?
I know. I was like, why did he do it that way? Oh yeah,
right.
Trying to finish the job
just in case.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I do think that's the one where Johnny Depp really kills it, as much as he can in this movie, at least.
Yeah, it's a lot of the same face acting though. So
oh, absolutely. Like, I'm just talking about singing. That's the one song where he, like, actually sings pretty well. But yeah, I do feel like he very much phoned it in. And in fairness, this is the movie that people might remember because Lily Rose Depp, who is now famous, was hospitalized with an illness, which I don't think they ever actually released what it was, which honestly, nobody's business. Fair enough. She was hospitalized and he actually wound up having to take a hiatus from filming to go and be with her. So, like, your heart's not in it for a very good reason. Not judging you. But I think you can kind of tell that he was distracted, and like he's kind of phoning it in. Yeah,
and also, like, you're doing a film about a daughter that is long lost. That could be very triggering as well. Even though, like, whatever your thoughts are on JD today,
at the time, that's got to be a lot.
Yeah. 8 a.m.
Oh my God. At the time, 8 a.m.
Sorry.
I love how it's that and not like a money ATM is not what either of us goes to anymore for a first thought.
We don't have money to go to the ATM.
See, nobody carries cash anymore. But yeah, I could definitely understand him being a little distracted, but I do think you can definitely tell is the thing.
Yes.
I feel like with so much of this movie, like, I don't know if it was studio intervention or what it was, but just like, this movie needs an injection of life. It needs an injection of energy. It's just very lackluster.
It does. And I think that's why it keeps hitting one note.
Right? You know? It is very one note. One thing I do actually want to give them credit for is there's a sequence about 2/3 of the way through the movie where the judge has discovered Joanna and Antony's plan to run away together. So he sends her to an asylum to, like, quote unquote, keep her safe, which, like, that's a choice. But it does lead to the one genuinely creepy scene in this movie, which is where Antony rescues Joanna and leaves the owner of the asylum to as he puts it, the mercy of your children, as he calls them. And he is quite literally ripped to pieces by a bunch of women in an asylum, which, like, first of all, ladies, get him. But also, yikes.
No, that part, like, that's the real horror in this.
Yeah, that's
just asylums
totally.
in the 1800s.
Totally.
That's about it. That,
like, the violence is so over the top that it's almost not scary anymore. So I would argue that this actually is the only really horrific scene in it.
Yeah, like, I think that's why it's not. This is why it's a hard movie, because you should care more. I can't, like, it's like,
yeah,
it's horrible. Like, you wanted this lady, and then now you want her daughter. And then, like, you're all butthurt about weird stuff because you're gross.
Alan Rickman is a predator
in
this
movie.
He is a predator.
And
like,
you should care more.
Right? Even
like,
in,
these are horrible things I've just said.
Even in Mrs. Lovett's song, where she, like, tells Sweeney what happened to his wife and how awful it is, and, like, everything that Alan Rickman does. Like, it's a footnote. And it shouldn't be.
No.
Like,
no.
You know? And I think that's, again, you kind of hit the nail on the head, where, like, it is so one note, and it's because you're not invested in any of these characters.
And I don't really, like, I don't know how you could be. Like, maybe other variations of it are better at you caring, because it's set up like a Hallmark movie, unfortunately, where it's like there's always like
shade.
a parent that's like, you know, it's so formulaic in itself. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Where
a little bit.
It's like we have to care because it's a woman and it's a child, but we're so desensitized. Maybe I'm desensitized.
Well, I mean, for me, the only one who I kind of gave a shit about was Toby, the child.
Yeah.
Because I think he's giving the most like, sort of compelling performance out of all of the main people.
So, you know, loved his gin addiction.
Right? Just tiny alcoholic, that poor little liver.
Yes. I feel that, you know, in that time, he's like 25 years old.
Right. I do have to, I briefly mentioned it earlier, but I do have to call out the one number, which for me was just unforgivable, which is By the Sea, which is the one with Mrs. Lovett. And, like, it's the one that got posted on Tumblr to death. The like, little still of them sitting on the beach as goth kids and stuff. And, like, I fucking hate that number in this movie.
That's so funny.
I hate it. Like, it's just it's all them sitting in a green screen.
It's cheeky, but it's not.
But they've muted the cheekiness. They've, like, edited it out, because the original one from the musical is very cheeky and very funny. And this one, they kind of, like, clipped it. So it's, like, just there.
Yeah. Okay. That makes so much sense. There's just something missing.
Right? It, again, all aesthetic, no soul.
Yeah.
This is my problem. A wet noodle of a film.
That's why it was really interesting to revisit, because I kind of still have the same feelings that I did as a kid, to be honest.
Yeah. Like, it's...
You'd think with the amount of exposition, things would be more clear to you, but then you're like, oh yeah, wait, the old woman. Oh my God.
Right.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Yeah, like, it's just kind of meandering in a bit of a mess, and, like, yeah, all of the cinematography in this movie is also really weird. Like, it almost feels like there should be AI involved, but this was pre-AI.
Yes, I looked at the cinematographer. I forget what they'd have done some other previous projects as well, and, like, they, like, pretty big ones. I thought it was okay. Like, honestly, I thought it was okay. Definitely, like, you're working with what you've got here.
Oh, for sure. Like, I'm not saying that to blame the cinematographer anyway, but just, like, it's weird choices. Like,
followed a lot of the action, for sure. Very few stagnant shots.
You have weird forced perspective in certain shots and things like that. And, like, also just, like, some of the close-ups and things are just at, like, odd angles. Like, the one that really stuck out to me was at the beginning when Anthony gets the shit kicked out of him by the beetle, and he has his little reprise where he looks up at the window and he's singing to Joanna while he's, like, covered in blood. The close-up shot of him is really kind of weird. He's, like, off to one side, and you can only kind of see part of his face because it's, like, hidden by his hair and all this blood and stuff. And, like, he mostly just looks kind of creepy. He doesn't look like he's in love with her. He kind of looks like a stalker. Like, it's a little weird.
1800s love.
Oh, I mean, that's absolutely what he is, but that's not what he's portrayed 100%. As in the movie. Like, he's supposed to be being romantic in the movie, and, like, it's just a little weird. Yeah. Like, the message is kind of lost.
It is. So I do agree with you on the forced perspectives because it did feel very Diagon Alley.
Right?
Very like
Harry Potter 5.
It does.
That was the vibe. Like, yeah, that was how it felt, except it felt like Harry Potter 5 achieved that vibe a little bit better. Like, yeah,
like, what are you guys recycling from this movie that we don't know about?
Exactly. Like, I'm a huge fan generally of a lot of adaptations because I like to see people's interpretations of stories.
Of course.
But this didn't feel like you added anything.
Mm-mm.
Like, I could have just watched a recording of the stage play and I probably would have enjoyed it more. Like, I don't know that we needed this in that way. Like, if you're gonna do it, do something interesting with it.
Yeah, like, what a choice, though.
Yeah.
Like, what a choice. Because the box office reception, I thought would have been a bit different, but maybe that was marketing. I don't know. Or
probably.
Maybe, like you said, like maybe they had like theater exhaustion, but, you know, this is a hard one. This is why I keep saying it's a difficult one because it's almost like a disappointed parent. You're like,
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
I'm not putting this one on the fridge. Like, there's not enough room from all your better ones.
Right? I mean, yeah. And while this does still have a lot of good death scenes in it, like Alan Rickman's death scene is great because that's the one where Johnny Depp is just like absolutely literally just like ripping him apart. He's like stabbing him in the neck a bunch. There's blood everywhere. Like, as a horror fan, so much fun. It is so much fun
because he was Snape at the time, and
right?
Like,
and he is a baddie in the movie, so like you are down to watch him die.
Yeah, exactly.
So like.
That's why I keep going back to like why the casting is good. Should we do cut, keep, or do?
I know. Yeah, let's move through here because that's basically the end of the movie. Like we get Alan Rickman's death, and then Sweeney Todd kills his wife by not recognizing her. You know, lets Joanna go, kills Helena Bonham Carter, and then dies, and that's the end of the movie. And you're like, okay.
And you and I keep doing the disappointed parent thing where we're like, this was good, but
yeah.
So nothing, like, more stuff should be notable, but it's not notable.
Right.
Which is
a shame.
Yeah.
Which is a shame. So actually, before we get into our cut, keep, redo, I'm going to give us a little bit more insight about the franchise and the movie itself, because I feel like that will inform a lot here. So the original stage show premiered in 1979. It was written by Stephen Sondheim with a book by Hugh Wheeler. And Angela Lansbury actually played Mrs. Lovett of Murder, She Wrote fame.
Love that.
Oh, and honestly, she's incredible.
Go, Jessica.
Yes, go, Jessica. We love to see it. And like, I looked up some of it. I watched some of the stage show. And once you've seen that, that's why I can't get behind like By the Sea and all that other stuff. It's not actually anything to do with Helena Bonham Carter per se. It's the fact that once you've seen how this is meant to be performed, you see all the choices that were made and you get into that disappointed parent mode where you're like, you could have crushed this, guys. This could have been so good. Like, so good. And Angela Lansbury is a perfect model of it. You need somebody who can commit and really go for it in something like this. Like, no holds barred, all theatrical, all big, all over the top. Just get it. Which is exactly what she does. And the stage show is actually based on another play that came out in 1970 by Christopher Bond, just called Sweeney Todd, which was just like a regular play, not a musical, basically. But the musical has had so many freaking runs. So the original run was in 1979. It was then revived in 89, 2004, 2005, 2009, 2012, and 2013. Sweeney's been around. So I think that definitely played into how this movie was received, because by the time it came out, it had already had 3 Broadway revivals. Like, this is a big show. So people who knew the show, I suspect, probably saw some of the advertising, because even in the advertising, you can see some of the changes that they've made, and went, yeah, no, not for me. Absolutely not. Which, like, you know, rough. So that's all we have for the Broadway franchise, because this movie is not part of any franchise. It is just a standalone film. It doesn't have a prequel, sequel, anything like that. It just has the Broadway play as a precursor. So
just keeps getting adapted and
readapted and all kinds of stuff. For example, I believe it was either the 2005 or the 2009, but don't quote me, that Patti LuPone was in one of the revivals. And it is set in an insane asylum, and it's like a whole thing. Like Alti, it's kind of a mess. Patti LuPone is always amazing in everything, but it's kind of a mess, truth be told. So there are other people who have done what I would argue are more original versions of this story. I don't know if I could argue that they've done it better, but they've done it more originally. So all around, just disappointed parent vibes, like kind of all over the place. How about we do our notable here? So for me, I think the most notable was Ed, or Edward Sanders, the kid who played Toby, and Sacha Baron Cohen. They were the really big standouts for me, just because I feel like they both crushed it. And of course, like, Alan Rickman crushes it.
I agree, because that's not the obvious.
Yeah.
Like, it's like,
because like Alan Rickman is great, but Alan Rickman is great in everything.
And
so,
you know, notable, like we've already noted, it's aesthetically beautiful. Everything is like really done well. Like Sacha Baron Cohen's clothes are done well. Everybody's little, like, all the little details are taken care of.
The whimsy.
Yes, yes.
And I did write down, if nothing else for a horror musical, it's still better than Repo the Genetic Opera. So you're ahead of the race. Maybe we'll do that one day, but not for now.
I just had flashbacks. That movie is wild.
And despite the presence of Anthony Stewart Head, who played Giles on Buffy as one of the lead characters in Repo, I can admit that it's terrible.
That is hilarious.
I may be biased, but I'm not that biased. All right, so cut, keep, and redo. Do you want to go ahead, Jayme, or do you want?
Yeah, I'll go. I'll go. The thing that cut, runtime.
Oh God!
Runtime.
Yes.
Not gonna lie, it was just not. The build-up is not it's not enough for me, and the songs could hit a bit better if you're gonna do it that way.
Yes.
But the elixir seemed great, and then something I keep casting. Honestly, if you're gonna, for what it is, the casting was pretty good for me personally, just because everybody seems to be doing the best job in that situation, and for how it is such a studio movie, I don't know who they would have casted instead, if that makes sense, because of the, let's call it the actor climate of the time.
Sure, let's call it the Hollywood climate of the time.
Yes. Those people seem to be the hottest and most deliverable, and we weren't exhausted of them yet.
Yes, that's
true. The thing I would redo, the ending. I don't know why I didn't love it. I thought it was very abrupt, considering how much buildup there is. Because like, I don't have dreams, I have nightmares. And then you guys just disappear. And it's like, I don't know. I kind of wanted to see if they died or not.
That's fair.
To say. Like, I just needed to see them on a boat.
Are they still together? This is the question.
Yeah. Shout outs. And then I just guess like a little bit more, like it just felt pretty abrupt, but not in a good way. And I think that's why I keep going back to the bland note, or it just like is missing something, because then it's like, well, I don't know. It just doesn't, like, he just killed his wife. So he's like, I just want to die. You know? And again, makeup was phenomenal, because she had, like, she just looked so gross.
She did look gross. Although the CGI blood underneath the two of them drove me nuts, because you can see they used the real stuff to dribble all over her face, but then they CGI'd the stuff underneath them, and it makes me crazy.
It looks very, like, we put it there.
Yes.
So that's mine.
Real blood doesn't move like that, guys.
No.
Mine cut basically the runtime, but I would say cut the dialogue and turn it back into a song like the Broadway.
Just for flow.
Basically. Yeah, just for flow, just for pacing. I would also cut Johnny Depp. Sorry. Like, not sorry. I would keep Sacha Baron Cohen, definitely, because he is the one who, has to say, like, stood out for me. He was the real surprise, especially at the time when I watched it. I was like, oh, damn, like, this guy can do more than just Borat or the Ali G show. Okay.
Yeah.
And redo the opening titles for me. That animation did not sit well with me. Like, that looked like something you made in iMovie. Like, come on, guys. You have a $50 million budget. Either actually claymation it the way you want to, or do a digital design. Don't try and find a happy medium, because you found a medium, but it's not happy.
Yeah. Well, and like, for real, it feels like you guys just took the Willy Wonka opener and just decided that I'm going to change it into
Sweeney Todd.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay.
Yeah, like we already had the animation for this. Let's turn the chocolate machine into a meat grinder.
Yeah. Yeah.
And honestly, like for a cannibal movie, I would have enjoyed more body parts.
Yes. Also more emphasis on the eating of pies.
Yeah.
Because there's really only one scene where you see the public eating pies. There's one number, there's one scene. And then you get Toby at the very end when he discovers a toe, which, by the way, he is chewing on that toe way too long before he realizes what it is. Just going to throw that out there. But, yeah, I would have loved to have, like, a little bit more emphasis on that, or, like, see at some point maybe, like, Mrs. Lovett or Sweeney or somebody, like, dealing with the bodies or something.
Yes.
Because, like, we never have any hint of that whatsoever. And I think if you really want to sell the horror of it, you need a little more of that. Like, again, I feel like they were aiming for happy mediums where they're like, okay, it's a musical, but it's a horror musical, but we don't want it to be too horrific, but we also don't want it to be too much of a musical because we're trying to get the biggest audience we can.
Which is confusing because it was rated R anyways.
Exactly. And at that point, just like pick a lane.
Yeah.
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 Just pick a lane. And I think if they had leaned into either the musical or the horror, it would have been a much better movie.
It's so strange to me that a director that understands camp couldn't produce that.
Right?
I don't know.
And I mean, again, that could be studio intervention because a lot of this movie wound up on the cutting room floor. They shot a lot more than what wound up on the screen. So a lot of that could be studio intervention.
But like you said, like it depends where the actors' heads are at. Depends how exhausted you are in doing big projects. Like sometimes the luster doesn't dust anymore for you.
All right.
Yeah. So that's why it's a confusing one for sure.
Exactly. So should we get into some fun facts?
Tell me some fun facts here.
Fun facts. So this movie premiered in December of 2007. It was actually pretty well received critically. Obviously the box office did not match that, but it was pretty critically received. It actually won the Golden Globe for Best Motion Picture, Musical, or Comedy, which I did not have time to look up the other nominees, but I would be curious to see what it won over. And Johnny Depp was actually nominated for both a Golden Globe and an Oscar for this movie, which, like, for real? Like, really?
We had, I think it was like No Country for Old Men. There was like...
Oh, like he was never going to win.
It was an interesting year
even
for
so,
that, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, the older I get, the more I realize that the Academy's voting system is completely nonsensical. Like the fact that they didn't have to watch the movies until this year. But like, that said, sometimes their nominations, I'm like, why this movie? Like, why is this even campaigning? Why this movie? Also, FYI, for people who don't know, you don't actually just get nominated for an Oscar. You have to agree to campaign for one, which costs several $1 million. It's not actually just like, oh my God, thank you, I'm so amazing. It's like a whole other thing.
It's a very pay-to-play system.
Very much so.
Most award shows are like that these days, for sure. Because
like all of them, basically.
Yeah. It just depends. For sure. And that's why I'm like, I don't really know anymore. That's why just like what you like.
Exactly.
And even this movie, for example.
Like what you like.
Critics really said it was, and then
Critics
audience score wasn't the same. So it's like what you like.
Yes. Yeah. Well, did I already do Rotten Tomatoes? Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
No worries.
Out of there. Okay. So, fun fact. So Stephen Sondheim did actually personally approve both Johnny Depp and Helena Bonham Carter's casting. Helena Bonham Carter actually auditioned 12 times for both Tim Burton and Stephen Sondheim to ensure that there would be no accusations of nepotism or anything like that. She sent him 12 different recordings of her singing all of these different songs so that he could approve her, like he felt like she could do it, and he did. As I previously mentioned, this is the only film adaptation of any of his works that Stephen Sondheim actually likes, which again, I feel like is kind of shocking, but okay. In order to perfect the rhythm of the music and lyrics, Helena Bonham Carter actually practiced her songs while baking at home so that she could get the right rhythm of working with the baking tools and the dough and all of that stuff to make it sound correct.
That's perfect.
Which, like, yes, we love a committed queen.
That's method. That's
method.
a little method.
That's method. Some of the straight razors that Johnny Depp uses on screen were actually specially made by the props department and are mechanical. Mm-hmm. So there was a small button that you could not see that Johnny Depp would push in order for it to open because apparently he struggled with the regular ones. And like, bro, I've held a straight razor. What are you struggling open it. You just like push down on the thing and open it. It's not, they're heavy, but like, it's not that hard. Like,
you know, I can kind of get that though, because if you're doing how many takes per day and you need to have it like come out a certain way,
I guess
if you can make it easier, you got to give them BFD.
I guess, yeah.
Like, let them be lazy, because like you know, because this is a studio film, right? Mm-hmm. Time is money. And if you're not flicking out that razor properly by the third take and you want to go to lunch, button please.
That's so fair.
Give me that button.
And as my one friend who's a former stage manager said, actors are lovely people. They're kind, they're intelligent, they're wonderful. As soon as that curtain goes up, they forget everything they've ever known about existing as a human. So, the struggle is real.
Yeah. Even regular people, have you ever volunteered for something on stage?
Oh, God, yeah.
Watching people try and understand instructions?
Yeah, I feel that, though, because I'd be that person where
it's the spotlight. What? Why is it so hot in here?
Why am I so uncomfortable?
Yeah.
So back to our fun facts. For his audition, Sacha Baron Cohen actually sang the entire score of Fiddler on the Roof to Tim Burton, which, if you are not a musical theater nerd like me, that's a difficult score to sing. The soundtrack is actually really impressive, like from a musical standpoint, and being able to sing not only one of those parts, but potentially most of those songs is actually really impressive. Like, I do feel like, again, there's a whole multitude of reasons that I'm not going to get into, but one of the reasons why we haven't had a remake of Fiddler on the Roof is because it would be really hard to cast at this point in order to get the right people in the right age group, because the protagonist is a man in his 50s. So, like, getting the right people in the right age groups who can actually sing that score would be really hard to do. So again, respect to Sacha Baron Cohen, who I don't actually love as an actor, but I can respect your effort for this movie. He also hired his barber as a consultant and took up to 16 hours to learn how to properly handle a straight razor. So he, I would argue, went method, but in a manageable and normal way.
Yeah, you took the time.
You took the time. Jane Weisner, who played Joanna, this was her first movie ever. She, I don't think, had ever even acted really before, other than, some very, very small projects. She is still acting, but it's mostly smaller things. As far as I know, this is her only big studio film. So, now we have arrived to my favorite fun fact, the one that I have hinted at previously in this episode.
Dun, dun, dun.
Involving my beloved Anthony Stewart Head, aka Giles. So, the original cut of the movie actually included characters that were ghosts of Sweeney's victims, including Anthony Stewart Head, that had Sir Christopher Lee of Wicker Man and Lord of the Rings fame singing the Ballad of Sweeney Todd, its reprises, and the epilogue, because he also sang, as well as featuring Anthony Stewart Head as one of the ghosts. I believe he also sang as well, because he is also a Broadway star. And they were wound up being cut from the film for being, quote unquote, too theatrical. Which, like, y'all, you picked the wrong lane. But yes, originally Christopher Lee was involved, much like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, because he also worked with Tim Burton all the time. And my favorite fun fact about Christopher Lee, of which there are so many, if you have never Googled him, do the deep dive. That man lived a life. He released a heavy metal Christmas album like 2 years before he died. It's my favorite fucking thing.
That's something to do.
One of the songs is called Jingle Hell. It's amazing.
All the way.
Exactly. He was also one of the people who inspired James Bond. So he's a very cool guy. He potentially assassinated some people during World War II, but he would never talk about it. He's fascinating. He's somebody who, if they were ever interested, I want a real legit biopic of Christopher Lee. I would watch the hell out of that. That would be so cool.
Honestly, necessary.
Right? Mm-hmm. Like, everybody, if you're a big dork like me, knows the behind-the-scenes story about him on Lord of the Rings when he was playing Saruman, where he stabbed someone in the back, and Peter Jackson, somebody was actually filming it, so you can see the interaction where Peter Jackson is like, yeah, and then you stab him and it goes like, or whatever. And Christopher Lee very pointedly corrects him and says, no, when you stab someone in the back, you puncture their lungs, so it actually makes like a gasping sort of whooshing sound, and then like, this is what they do, and all this stuff, and Peter Jackson kind of like, and he's like, do you
I've
want
done this
Yeah,
before.
literally, like, I don't remember what he says, but the implication is like, I'm the one who's done this before. That's how it happens.
That's how it'll be done.
Right? Because he was a big deal during World War II
Yeah.
and like a whole bunch of stuff. There's actually a really famous story with him and John Landis, where John Landis went to see him on his deathbed and was like, come on, bro, like, you're dying. Tell me what you did in the war, basically. And Christopher Lee just turned to him and went, can you keep a secret? Good, so can I. And would never say anything about it. So he got up to some shit. I would love to know about it.
Yeah.
I would love to know. So in the stage show, traditionally Toby is actually not played by a child. He's actually played by an adult actor, and the character is meant to be an adult with what they describe as mental challenges. So that's one thing I will actually give the movie credit for. I think casting him as a child is a much better choice.
Yeah, because they're just trying to create a sympathetic character.
Yeah, like a sense of innocence and like naivete and things like that. Yes. Because like who wouldn't notice all of these bodies in the basement and things like that?
Of course.
I do think turning him into a child is a better choice.
And you're able to give him a good backstory too.
Exactly. Yeah. And that way he gets like just a more well-rounded character for somebody to work with. So I'm definitely
less mice of men.
Exactly. This is the second of 3 Tim Burton films that was not scored by Danny Elfman, the others being Ed Wood and Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. Other than that, all of his films have been scored by Danny Elfman. Although, obviously, Sondheim and a few other people had something to say on this one, so that wasn't a thing. Sweeney Todd, this is only a rumor, but he is rumored to be visually styled after David Vanian of The Damned, who are a super goth band from the 80s. And if you Google him, he's got the same hairstyle and like the same look, and it's like very clear that there was some inspiration here in like a big way. And our final fun fact, which I did think was kind of an interesting one, originally when this project was first pitched, because this movie was in development for nearly 25 years, it took them so long to try and get a film adaptation. It would just like a studio would buy the script and then it would float to another, and it would just never really happen. And the last sort of firm person attached to it pre-Tim Burton was actually Sam Mendes. And he was going to direct with Russell Crowe to star. And as Les Mis taught us, Russell Crowe can do many things, but musicals are not one of them. Love him. He's great, but not a musical man.
That's so funny.
I can't even imagine.
It just shows, again, what a weird time this movie came out at.
It really was. Oh, and also, sorry, actually, I lied. Our final fun fact is that the total body count for this movie is 12.
How lovely. An equal dozen.
An even dozen, but not even a baker's dozen considering this movie. Come on, should have made it 13.
And this time, no extras.
Never. We're on a budget. All right, should we get into some pitches?
Let's pitch.
All right, so we have a timer ready, and we're ready to pitch.
And go.
Okay, we pick up with Toby immediately after the murder of Sweeney Todd, at which point Toby is arrested and charged with the many murders of Sweeney Todd and Mrs. Lovett. We proceed with a tense courtroom drama, with all of the evidence stacked against young Toby. It is only when Anthony and Joanna emerge from hiding to confirm Toby's innocence at the last possible moment that he is finally set free with a triumphant ending song.
Beautiful.
And that's our movie.
That is a solid pitch.
32 seconds. Look at me go.
That is good. That is good. I'm a little more prepared this time.
Ooh,
wow,
okay.
crazy.
Okay, I'm so ready.
So, also I liked yours. It's very good. It's very good. Ours starts off similar.
Honestly, this movie was hard to pitch for a sequel. It was hard. I struggled.
Was thinking almost of a reimagining, but I switched it. And here it is. And
go.
So, Toby, after murdering Todd, is overcome with emotion and doesn't know what to do except to eat one last pie. The pie has been baked with Miss Lovett's ashes, and the ashes possess Toby.
Oh!
With Miss Lovett. Determined to bring back Todd to keep up, her romantic escapade.
Ooh, very Hellraiser.
She, in hopes of an unsuspecting victim, will become possessed with the demon Barber, which she does, and it continues their plan. Toby is fighting for the spot of his soul back through Miss Lovett, because Toby is possessed with Miss Lovett. Mm-hmm. And gets a moment of clarity, but as she is too strong and gets possessed again. Eventually, a nun eats a pie that was made with Pirelli. And his soul has come back to enact his revenge. And through a fight with oh my gosh, my pitch is actually going to be longer this time.
Oh my God.
We're just going to keep going.
We're going. It's okay.
And because he has possessed the soul of a nun, he goes back to enact his revenge on Sweeney Todd and Miss Lovett, manages to murder Todd again. And then Toby is fighting with Pirelli, and a fire ensues, and Pirelli dies, and the nun and Toby are burned in this fire, and it cuts to black, and they're in the burn unit. Toby is back to being unpossessed. The nun is back to being unpossessed. And honestly, I don't really know what happens to the other two. I've decided that they're just gone.
I love that.
And that's my pitch.
Minute 27. Look at you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
I love that.
I mean, longer this time,
between
you guys.
The two of us, that's still 2 minutes. But
yes.
I love it. It's giving like Hellraiser and also like a little bit of like The Exorcist, maybe a little bit.
Yeah,
like
love a little possession
with a little like Friday the 13th ending there. Like
we're making it supernatural now.
I love it.
Yeah, let's.
I'm here for it. Why not a supernatural sequel? Let's do it.
I forget. I think it's the film series The Boy, where the first one actually is a boy, and then the second one, I just spoiled it for everybody. Sorry,
guys.
And then the second one, actually, they decided to do the supernatural route.
Okay.
And there's like possession. They're not bad.
I haven't seen them.
They're not great, but they're not bad.
Fair.
That's sometimes that's life.
That's so true.
But I like your pitch. I like how it's immediately cut from that scene.
Yep.
And continuation. Mm-hmm. I like how you had them involved back, because that's what I didn't really like about the movie is like you guys just kind of really introduce these characters and then they're just gone.
They're just there.
Yeah. That's kind of how they felt. And the part that makes me upset is like, can they be removed? Not really, because that one scene where he's just like, she's going to escape with me tonight.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like,
It's what fuels his murderous rage to all of his customers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Jayme, was it worth the bitch?
Honestly, no.
Yeah, I don't think it was.
It's too, just kind of is what it is, and it's forgettable, unfortunately.
It is.
I forgot a lot what happened, and I kind of forgot a lot of the things, but you just remember the parts that you do. Like, you do remember Mr. Pirelli. You remember the elixir part. Is this piss?
Yes.
It's probably piss, because you never want it to actually be piss.
That's true.
Sorry, I said that so many times in a row. Oh, my God.
Piss. Yeah, I think this movie, I'm not gonna lie, I do own it on DVD. That was how I watched it.
Print media, baby.
Physical media supremacy, baby. And I would consider rewatching it maybe around Halloween or something. It's good as background noise, because the songs are still pretty decent for the most part, and the deaths are great and stuff like that. So if you just want something kind of silly for background noise, you can definitely throw it on. But it's not one that I would sit down and rewatch often.
I think that's why I'll give it 2 ratings.
Oh, okay.
Because I feel like if you do not like musical, you really have to like this specific genre. This is for a specific person.
Yes.
I think for them, they would probably think it's about exactly right.
I'm pointing at myself. It's for me.
For that specific niche, I probably put it at a 7. If you're just a regular viewer, I'm probably going to put it at a 5.
That's so funny because I only did 1 rating and I gave it a 4 out of 10.
See, ooh.
Yeah, I gave it a 4 because I would still potentially throw it back on. It's not a 0. It's not terrible. The deaths are good. There are some good sequences. There's some good songs. But overall, I would argue it's not a good movie, unfortunately. Okay. It has good elements, but it's not a good movie.
Yeah. It
drags on.
Yeah.
A lot of the performances aren't great. The songs, as I say, are mostly good. I think they're better if you haven't seen the stage play. Mm-hmm. But again, I don't love either of the voices for the leads. They're good, but they're not great. Again, it's serviceable. It's passable, but it's not great.
No.
Which is unfortunate because I think it had the potential to be great.
Rewatching it, I agree.
Right? The ingredients are there. They're just not fully cooked. Again, a wet noodle of a movie.
Disappointed parents.
We were waiting for that pasta dish, and we have a single wet noodle.
I couldn't even really think of things that were fun to make fun of because that's how bland in one note it felt.
Yep.
Usually I have a little bit more to riff on, but it's just kind of is what it is.
Yep.
And it felt very one location because it is one location. And I don't know. I feel like a lot of movies like, I don't know, like that style of how the boat pulling up to London. See that a lot. So it's like when it pulls up, it's like, okay, that's good. And then you do this like, just because Nosferatu came out this year and I saw so many similarities in that, and then it's just kind of meh. And I didn't really love Nosferatu either, to be honest.
I'm going to put on my art nerd hat for just a moment. The reason why there are similarities there, which there absolutely are, is because they both draw on German Expressionism.
There we go.
So if you ever watch early German, or look at paintings or watch early films that are from the German Expressionist period, you see where Tim Burton got every single aesthetic idea he's ever had. You're like, oh, you saw this at that peak age where it just like imprinted on your brain. And the original Nosferatu is part of that. So then when you get the modern adaptation, they're drawing on that. And like, there's so many similarities. So you're absolutely right. That is definitely there.
No rat budget.
Oh, I know. No rat
Where are all
budget.
the rats at?
Right?
2? You kidding me?
Are you kidding me? In Victorian London, you expect me to believe there's no rats?
Yeah, I wanted people to be coughing more too, more plaguey.
Well, like the scene where Johnny Depp is like running through the streets and singing about all of his potential victims, and he's like splashing around in puddles. I'm like, that's a Victorian puddle. You would have like tuberculosis and like a million other things. And yes, I know that that's not how TB is passed, but like you would have a million diseases.
Yeah,
and it would be so disgusting. And like the people would have been gross. They're all way too clean. Like,
what about you? Do you think this is worth? You think it's worth it?
Worth the bitch? Probably not.
No.
In all honesty, like, I'm not gonna lie, we picked this because it's a cannibal musical, and those are few and far between. They do exist. There are multiples of them, but they're few and far between.
And as we just sat down to record this, I was like, there's literally a musical called Cannibal.
Yep.
The musical.
Exactly.
So did we make a mistake?
Maybe, but here we are.
You can let us know at...
You can let us know on Instagram at pitchandbitchpod, or you can send us an email at pnb.pod.show@gmail.com, because we have reached the end of our episode, friends. Thank you so much for sticking with us through this particular bitch.
And thank you so much for being here.
Great, subscribe, do all that fun stuff.
Please do.
You can also find us on Podbean, Spotify, basically wherever you get your podcasts, you can find us. And leaving us a rating and review on those things really does help us out a lot in terms of boosting our audience, which we would love. And yeah, I guess we will see you guys next time. It's going to be a double whammy, and I feel like we're going to make up for the potential not being worth the pitch of this episode, because we are going to be talking about 1991's The Silence of the Lambs and its sequel, Hannibal.
Dun, dun, dun. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.